all these people that got laid off today and just wondering if they're going to have a job in the next few months or not.
All right, well, let's bring in Republican Texas Congressman Brian Babin to catch up on this subject and a lot more. Congressman, thanks and welcome back to the show.
Great to be with you, Sean and Lindsay.
All right, so Congressman, last night, the CARES funding, all this money that got passed for COVID relief, ran out for the airlines. It allows them to now start laying off people, and they did exactly that. Do you not, I mean, I said this back a few months ago, why would you guys put, and I don't mean you, I mean, I understand you're a rank and file guy, why would Congress, why would the leadership, why would the administration agree to an October 1st deadline for this to happen 32 days out from an election, 33 days out from an election?
I can't answer that question because I wasn't sitting at the table when that was agreed on. I voted for, for the CARES Act. But that's something that they did not look ahead on, and we're having some layoffs in some oil and gas industry companies as well. So not a good thing. But the long and short of it, Sean, is that Ms. Pelosi simply would not agree to negotiate. When we had the, a lot of the committee work that has been done, we've had bipartisanship galore. And then all of a sudden, we thought we had a bill, and the next thing you know, when Ms. Pelosi gets a hold of it, it's off the table, and they've got a Democrat wish list just chock full of stuff that has nothing to do with COVID whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, think about this. In Texas alone, United's got a major hub. Americans out of Fort Worth. Dallas isn't, I mean, Southwest is in the Dallas area, right? We're talking about 32,000 people being furloughed starting last night. What impact is that going to have on Texas alone?
It's going to have a big impact because we've had a number of, not just the airlines, as I said a second ago, we've had several other companies that have had massive layoffs, Shell Oil, Marathon, just several other companies, and that's just a few of them. And, there's not a thing that I can, as an individual, can do about this except to try to get the Democrats to work with our leadership so that we can wind up getting something out there for the American people that they desperately need.
The thing is, in Texas alone, there's a lot of key congressional races. I'm thinking Texas 32, where Beth Van Dyne is running. There's a bunch of other races that we can win back. And the thing that's so interesting about this industry is I've spent a lot of time last year on airplanes. And when I'm getting on a plane, the pilot, the flight attendant is not but I would say the vast majority of them seem to support President Trump, seem to Republican. That's not scientific. From the comments that they make, these are our people, Congressman. These are people that are voting for President Trump, voting for you and your colleagues. And it just seems to me as though, I get it, get Pelosi back to the table. But politically speaking, this is going to have potentially a huge effect on the ability to win back a lot of Texas races alone, never mind other seats around the country.
I think your concerns are very valid, but I don't, to be truthful with you and to be honest, I don't think you can blame this on President Trump.
Oh,
and I don't
no. I'm not. But I'm saying I get your point. Pelosi's playing chicken with this, hoping that people come back and it's using this as a stick to say, come back to the table. I'll give you this airline help if you give me all this other cash. At the end of the day, I mean, once these routes close down, once these planes go out of service, once these pilots don't get their certification, that impacts my ability to travel, your ability to travel, everybody's ability to travel. And I don't think Pelosi gets the impact on not just the immediate jobs, but our ability, our economy's impact to move around the country freely. And getting her back to the table and understanding what's at stake is crucial.
Well, I think she understands because she's almost had a mutiny on her hands. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
It's my understanding that we had a number of Democrats who were willing to sign on there to our, trying to get this bill negotiated and through the House. And she evidently took some of her members into a back room and said, "You will not sign on with these Republicans." And so this is why we had a little conga line going up to the microphone today asking for unanimous consent to bring this bill up. And we didn't get a single Democrat to help us because she is absolutely determined not to give any Republican or President Trump especially, who she loathes and hates, any kind of a win.
Yeah,
even if it's
it's not a win for her. I mean, it's not a win for Trump. It's a win for the country. I'm glad you're doing what you're doing, Congressman, because it's not just about her. You're absolutely right on this. It's getting her members to put pressure on her. I just want to, I know your time is short. I want to switch for a second. The president's been very clear about what the Democrats are talking about doing when it comes to their reaction to Amy Coney Barrett getting put on the court. Let me play for you what he said about what he thinks they're going to do in terms of the overall Supreme Court.
Joe Biden also refused to answer questions about packing the Supreme Court. Don't you love the Supreme Court? I mean, how good is Amy? Well, she ought to run for president instead of Joe. He was like last in his class. She ought to, can you imagine? This is a big difference. I don't know. How do you like Amy for the Supreme Court, yes?
Congressman, here's the problem or the concern that I have, rather. If Joe Biden wins, the Democrats take back the Senate and hold the House, they are going to add seats to the Supreme Court. It no longer will be 9. It will be 15 or whatever number, and they will pack it, put additional people on that court, and institute a very far-left agenda through the court. How much of a concern is this for you and your colleagues in the House of Representatives?
Big concern. I'll tell you something else, not just packing the court, but also getting rid of the filibuster if they take the Senate back. That is something that is absolutely on the table. I heard Schumer say that last night. But, you know, all we can, and of course, as you just said, Biden he refused to answer the question. And the things that he did say during that debate, I've never heard such whoppers in my entire life. I think the biggest one is that President Trump inherited a booming economy from the Obama administration. That is absolutely laughable. And then he also said that the story about his son Hunter receiving $3.5 million from the Moscow mayor was debunked. We know that is true. We know that is. The man just doesn't answer questions, and when he does, it's off the wall with absurdities. Like 150 million Americans were killed by gunfire. 200 million Americans died of COVID. And I'm not trying to.
Actually, that reminds me those are all good reminders. What he says, Congressman Brian Babin, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us and fighting the good fight, sir. Look forward to having you back soon.
You bet. God bless you.